So first off, does everybody notice? Hang on, let me just take it back.
Mhm.
This live view here.
Yes.
This is the backpack that allows people to go live on television anywhere. And it used to be you'd have a live truck, which was tough to get into situations like this and go live because you had to be attached to the truck. You know, they ran cables and
Right.
everything, and these little cancer backpacks, that's what we used to call them, kidney cancer backpacks that the photographers had to wear, that you could tell first off, I mean, I would say definitely, but it's likely a TV affiliate,
It's the yeah,
cameraman,
he works
photojournalist.
for the Fox affiliate in Austin.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. Fox
Mm.
Austin, which what's really funny is that Fox asked the guy who took this video if they could use it on all platforms. I'm going to show you his response. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so you can see, and he's got one of those big, like $30,000 cameras that one
Mhm.
once when he was covering something in Seattle.
Mhm.
That's not something that goes over very well with your boss when one of these cameras is flung on the
Yeah.
ground and potentially
Mhm.
broken. My question is, like, watching this, I'm trying to slow it down here. What happened? He's coming up behind. See, it's really hard to see what's going on here.
Mhm.
I don't understand if did he trip and fall on them, or because we're missing what happened on camera.
Mhm.
I don't
What
know if the officers had said, "Hey, everybody needs to get out of the area," and he didn't listen. But then there's this other lady in green that's right in front of them, so she doesn't
Mhm.
get thrown to the ground. So it's unclear, and I haven't seen any explanation yet why this happened. And because he says he pushed the officer, but I mean,
I
that wasn't obvious to me enough to throw him on the ground, especially when he's got a
yeah.
camera on him. I don't know.
I think that somebody, and I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but I think somebody bumped the cameraman. Whether I don't think it was on purpose, I think somebody bumped into him with all the pushing and shoving going on, and then he runs into the police officer, and then the police officer just it's already a tense situation, but the cop should have realized, oh shoot, this is a cameraman. He had his press credentials on his neck. You can see that when they're hauling him away. He had a live view. He had a camera. This wasn't a protester. This was clearly, an accident. And this guy was not assaulting the police officer. The Texas State Police, man, they're going to have a lawsuit there because that was totally uncalled for. And even if he did bump into him, that is still not cause to slam somebody like that. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Let's review some of the comments here. So,
I'm
okay,
here for the
first off,
comment
this is
section.
Fox 7 Austin writing. Hello, Christopher. Did you take this video? Fox 7 Austin and other Fox affiliated entities would like to use your video on all of our platforms until further notice. Is that okay? Do we also need anyone else's permission? And he says, it is my video. And then Fox 7 Austin says, may Fox 7 Austin and other Fox affiliated entities use your video on all our platforms until further notice. And he says, I require payment.
Hell yeah.
So
Good for
I'm
him.
going to write this guy because I think it was kind of ballsy of him to say that, but smart. Though I hope he doesn't
I
sue
probably would have
me.
said the same thing.
I know. I hope he doesn't sue me for showing his video. But anyway, yeah, it says here too, like, there were people who said, okay, that's a horrific violation of First Amendment rights. But then someone else, dude, knew exactly what he was doing. He engaged the officer from behind, deserved to be arrested. So, there's obviously different opinions about what happened here. See, it's just, I think, you also don't know what the orders were given.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what precipitated this particular moment. Not
Right.
to say what precipitated it from the photographer's standpoint, but meaning what was happening at the scene and what the orders were from the governor's office or someone else to do in that situation. Was it like, if anyone bumps you, they're out, you got to do this? And I think you got to really ask some serious questions about the governor's decision to crack down like this on these protests when he's saying we're not going to let anti-Semitism. I mean, even Matt Walsh today said he doesn't think that anti-Semitism should be illegal. I mean, come on, like, where, I know, look, I just saw in Seattle that that protesters like shut down. This was last week, I think, or a week and a half ago. They shut down the entrance to the Seattle airport. And
Mhm.
I mean, I would have been dying if Lynn, like, laughing hard, but also like felt bad for Lynn if because he had just left for his trip and Seattle, down the road because of the protesters to shut it down. I mean, did I bug out for a second there, Bill?
Yeah, just for a second.
Okay, sorry. Did you understand what I was saying?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I was just mentioning that, like, looking at it, it's like, okay, I get it that on in some of these particular cases, whatever the message is, and look, I've lived in Seattle before, for instance, and I've seen how insane some of these protests can get. You can't even live your life, like people marching down the highway and crazy stuff
Mhm.
like that. But in this particular case, it just looked like a rowdy group at a college university. And yeah, I think you're probably right, though we're making assumptions that somebody accidentally pushed this guy. I mean, lots of things are happening at one time, or maybe he tripped.
Mhm.
He's staring through the lens of a camera. He's not seeing very well. On the other hand, I don't know. I look at some of this stuff sometimes and I think, I don't know, I'm conflicted about the TV newsrooms telling their crews to be in the middle of situations like this. I think it's very dangerous. And I don't know. I'm not, like, on one hand, you want to see what's going on. And I appreciate the people who do that. On the other hand, if in the event they were like, hey, this has gotten to the point where it's unsafe for people, get out of here. Though I know law enforcement can use that sometimes as a crutch
Mhm.
to shut down speech. And so I'm not for that, but just like, say in the event, it's like, you know, something had happened that we didn't know about, and the TV crews stick around, then I kind of am like, well, why didn't you pull your crew? So I don't know. I kind of ride the fence on this one because, like I said, I appreciate being able to see what happened. I've been there before. I've covered many protests. Somebody was shot very close to where I was one night. I had to have my friend go over and take care of my dog. I'll never forget that night. On the other hand, I'm like, why am I here? You know,
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
why am I here? What am I doing? Like, at what point do you pull your crew? I don't know, Bill.
I've said this on the show before. When you are a news photographer, or really anybody in the news business that is out on the street, you live by three rules: protect yourself, then protect your gear, then protect the story. Okay. Because you can't be replaced. So you always got to be careful and watch out for yourself. We did, I think it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, the live shot of the reporter in West Virginia. She's, obviously set up by herself with a live view doing a live shot, and she gets hit from behind. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
It, yeah,
that was
it's
nuts.
just these corporations, they just don't care. And I think sometimes the news directors care even a little bit less because they're more worried about saving their own jobs versus, is this person safe, or am I sending my reporter and my photog into dangerous situations? Some of this stuff, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. It doesn't even call for a news crew. I mean, they've got drones all over the place nowadays. They've got traffic cams all over the place nowadays. So I don't see why you would send somebody. If you wanted to send them to the protest and have them in a safe spot, like elevated and shooting from a window or something like that, then I guess I could see that. But down on the ground, there's no need for it anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, uh, Tattle
Oh,
is supporter only in its entirety. So if you want the entire show, you got to join the editorial board on Locals, or you got to be on Rockfin as a supporter, or Patreon. So thanks to everybody who's already on there. Consider also becoming a supporter by joining the Wine Club, which we have officially launched. You can get your orders in. You will be getting videos from the guy who I just interviewed, who's the one who goes all over the world to find these particular vineyards. They have very high standards, like very small vineyards, natural fermentation, and old world type hand harvesting methodology. So you get to hear about the families and the stories of the wine. It's a very, I don't know, Allison type experience, if you will, if you
mm,
know what I like to do. I'm into farming and local farming, and I guess they might say everything is a local farming, but you know what I mean. People like me who, but these people are better because there's like small families doing it, and it actually tastes good, which is, I'm not totally sure anything I can say yet about stuff I've produced, except my chocolate is very good, though I can't figure out how to sell it. So go to AllisonWinePromo.com, get your order in. We're going to get 6 new wines every 3 months. You'll be getting videos from Diego. We're going to talk about them drinking the same wines, talking about all the wines. You're going to talk about each bottle. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just more of an experience than what we've been doing before, was just like ordering the wine and enjoying it separately. Now we're going to have a little bit of camaraderie around it. AllisonWinePromo.com. So thanks again. And over on locals, yes, G. Franklin, Malbec from Argentina, the perfect accompaniment to an episode of Tittle Tattle.